right now. So please do not record or photograph the meeting and do not share sensitive or personal information in the chat. We also want to let you know that we will be raffling a chance to win a bike fit voucher to Northwest Rehab Group. So thank you to Northwest Rehab Group for this amazing gift. You do have to stay on until the end of the webinar to be eligible, and we will be alerting the winner by email tomorrow. So we have a great presentation for you today. We'll be learning about the foundations of health and well-being, including how you can incorporate healthy habits into your life on and off your bike. Our two panelists will dive into the meaning of mindfulness, why it matters, and discuss the importance of nutrition, sleep, and movement. Through relatable examples, real-time practice, and grounded takeaways, this talk will leave you feeling more connected to yourself and motivated to incorporate healthier habits into your life. So our two panelists today are Erin Shakespeare and Dr. Shawn Jackson. Erin is a yoga and meditation teacher, as well as a contemporary artist, and Dr. Shawn Jackson is a naturopathic doctor. I'll have Erin share her screen and also turn on her video and audio, and we'll have her begin this presentation.
Okay, hi, that took me a second, but I'm here. Thank you for joining us today. I'm so excited to be here. As Kate mentioned, I'm an artist as well as a yoga teacher and meditation teacher. I've been teaching yoga and meditation for 7 years, and I started practicing when I was, in like grade 7. Because I was stressed from school and life, and I heard that yoga was supposed to help with stress. So I started going to a local class, and I really don't think that I fully understood all that I was getting from the practice, but I knew that when I left, I felt a little less stressed, more focused, more productive, less snappy and irritable, which is why I, kept going throughout the rest of my life. And I've continued to go through each layer and layer deeper into the practice. But I think what really makes yoga so special is the mindfulness component that's so integrated into the practice. So we can take that special quality and weave it into basically everything that we do in life. And that's really what I want to talk to you about today. So mindfulness, a living meditation. I titled it a living meditation because I want you to get the feel for how this can be integrated into just being a human, living your life. It's not something that should take a lot of time out of your day. It doesn't have to be this big commitment. It really is meant to be woven into the tapestry of your everyday life. And now I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to go to the next slide. And, oh, there we go. Mindfulness is a state of awareness that goes beyond the large strokes of who, what, when, and where. So generally speaking, we are going throughout our day taking in those bullet points. I'm driving to work right now. I'm getting to work and saying hi to Nancy, and then I'm sitting down and I'm drinking my coffee, and now this is happening and that's happening. So we have that level of presence naturally, but we're often missing the deeper component of how things are feeling and just really, going into the living and breathing quality of life. I'm so sorry, I don't know why this isn't letting me go to the next slide.
Erin, do you want me to share my slides, or do you want to try?
Sure. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's being very like buggy and not consistent.
If you want to keep talking, I can share my slide, and then maybe it'll be faster for the next transitions.
Yeah, that would be great. Should I stop my share?
Yes, please. Sorry for the tech issue. There we go. Slightly different, but let me know if you can see that.
Yes.
Can you see that, Erin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry, but we are back on track. It's about the lived experience in this moment now. So like I said, going deeper into the vibrant colors that make up your life, besides, just the bullet points of the day. So we can head to the next slide now, Nagar. Thank you. So I created this slide just to see if there's anything on this list that is piquing your attention that you're experiencing in your daily life. I think it's some things that a lot of us are experiencing multiple of. I know I am. Some things like feeling distracted, stressed out, anxious, a feeling of unfulfillment in your life, constant future tripping and worrying, and being disconnected from your body. Being disconnected from your body is particularly important for athletes and cyclists. A lot of the time I've worked with national level athletes in the past who don't have the level of body awareness that you would expect. And it makes it really hard to advance both in your skill, but also it feels like we're walking around, like this bobblehead on this disconnected body, and we're missing a really important part of being alive and being human. So this is one that I really want to focus on as we move through the meditation at the end. And then the other point that I'd like to highlight is this constantly looking outside of ourselves for guidance and answers, especially when it comes to our health and our well-being and what is going to make us thrive. That information most often is inside of you and inside of your body, but you can't access it if you're not connected to your body. So I can move to the next slide. Thank you. So some general benefits are increased productivity, increased performance, like I mentioned, self-awareness and intuition, increasing that level of satisfaction and fulfillment in your daily life, decreasing stress, which we could all use, increasing self-acceptance, connection to our physical bodies, and research does indicate that there are improvements in health markers such as blood pressure and heart health, but I'm going to leave the science to Dr. Shawn for later. And it can aid in us shifting negative patterns, habits, and addictions in our life. These can be serious addictions. It can also be maybe you like watch a little bit more TV every day than you would like, and you're left feeling a little bit off from that. Bringing in some mindfulness into your life can help to shift that balance a little bit over time. Okay, so as a tangible practice, how do we do this? It sounds great. I want those benefits, but how do I do it? One really easy practice you can do is a check-in before, during, and after your ride as a method of getting to know yourself better. So you're, If you can spend a minute in stillness before you begin, that's great. But if you don't have time, like as you're walking to go get your bike and then drawing it out to the street, going through this checklist of how do I feel? And going deeper than just the first word that comes to mind, but really going into how does your breath feel? How does your body feel today? Are there any aches and pains? Some spots that might need a little bit of attention today and compassion? How do your thoughts feel generally? Are they racing? Are they grounded? Are they more on the negative side or super positive and expansive? Just taking this scan of all parts of you and how you're doing, and then emotional as well. Then during your ride, checking in with those same factors, especially the physical markers of breath, of heart rate, and how your body's feeling. Like, how do the pedals feel underneath your feet? How do your muscles feel as they're contracting and lengthening? How does your posture feel? Sometimes it means slowing down just a little bit so that you can focus on those things. But then once you get into the rhythm and the practice of it, it should come quite naturally, and you can find it with ease, and it will hopefully really enhance your experience as well as your performance. And then after, again, if you can spend just a minute at the end in stillness, that's great. But if not, as you're like putting your bike away, and then going about your day, checking in with how do you feel now, both physically, mentally, emotionally, and overall energetically. So the mindful observer is neutral. This is a really important point because when we start to become more self-aware and self-reflective, it can turn into another negative pattern in our lives if we are being mean to ourselves or if we're getting caught up in the highs and the lows, either way. So picture this mindful observer as this eye back at the back of your chest that opens up and looks around as a neutral bystander, just taking in information with no judgments, no expectations, no future predictions based on what it's noticing. It's just pure and simple and taking the information in. So breath as an anchor to the present moment. It's just, breath work is such a tangible, quick way of dropping into the present moment. And meditation is like physio for the mind. So if you want to bring this practice further into your life and cultivate it, then just spending a little bit of time in meditation each day can really start to sharpen these skills and make it easier. So for today, we're going to do a quick 2-minute meditation and breathwork session just to give you a little taste of what that might feel like. So go ahead and get comfortable. Ideally, you're sitting up straight. So if you need to do any adjustments so that your posture is more aligned, do that. And then close your eyes. And take your palms down on your lap. And just take a moment to let your senses settle inwards. We spend a lot of time focusing on the visual experience of life, taking in a lot of information through our eyes. So just by closing the eyes, we're already shifting our state of awareness and our perspective. And then notice whatever you're noticing at first. Maybe there's a sound in the background that's annoying you a little bit, or maybe you're feeling the temperature of the day. Maybe all of a sudden you're much more aware of your breath. So let the honing of your awareness happen naturally. And let's say there's a sound in the background that starts out as annoying. If you just allow yourself to listen to it, can you let that edge fade and take it in with more neutrality so that it's just there? And as physical beings, we tend to connect to physical experiences more easily than mental and emotional ones, as in we're more able to identify them. So it's nice to start with that in your meditation, starting with the breath, like I said. So just notice your breath at first. Is it deep or shallow, fast or slow? Where in the body does it feel like your breath is going? Now picture your rib cage and shine a light in your mind on the back and sides of the rib cage, sort of in the lower portion. So think around your shoulder blades and then wrapping around the sides. And now start to send your breath into that spotlight on the inhale. And just let your shoulders soften and release on the exhale. Inhale through your nose, really sending it into that spotlight. Now start to exhale through the mouth. Again, as you soften the shoulders, soften the face. Now inhale through your nose for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold at the top. Soften your face as you're holding. Relax your shoulders. Try not to tense up in it. And then out through the mouth through pursed lips. Breathe out for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause at the top. Again, try not to harden into it. You're just pausing. And then through pursed lips, exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through the nose, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 5. Hold at the top. Exhale 5. Inhale 5. Hold at the top. Exhale 5. Last one, inhale. Hold. Exhale. And breathe naturally. Keep the eyes closed. And notice what you feel. How does your breath feel now? How does your heart rate, your nervous system feel? Has anything released in your body? Or are you starting to notice something in your body that was more in the background, more faded before? How does your mind feel? Your heart, your energy? Do you feel expansive, relaxed, tensed up? And again, there's no judgment. We're not looking for any right or wrong answer. It's all good. Just the more honest and connected you can be, the better. And take one more deep breath in through your nose and let it go through your mouth. And you can go ahead and open your eyes whenever you feel ready. So that was, just a couple minutes of meditation that you can do before your ride, before anything in your day. If you can start your day that way, that's beautiful, or to end the day, to check in. But the practices can also be woven into other activities like we talked about before. It's just helpful to slow down and close the eyes to really hone in, which is why I said it's like physio for the mind. The more strong you can get in that practice, the more able you're going to be able to tap into that state of awareness while you're cycling, while you're cooking, while you're driving to work, while you're in conversation with someone and you start to notice your nervous system flaring up, things like that. So that is it for my presentation. Thank you so much for joining my portion of the talk today. And I do offer a Meditate Monthly club. So if you join my newsletter at my website, erinhalla.com, I'm sending out free meditations once a month that are audio recorded. So that's just a little taste treat. And I'll pass it over to Shawn now.
Great, thank you, Erin. And can everyone hear me all right? Wonderful. I feel so relaxed now after that meditation, and I think there's lots to be said for breath work and for just being in the present moment. So thank you, Erin, again. Hopefully I can get through my slides. I feel so zen right now. So I am going to share my screen. Just let me know if there's any technical difficulties, okay? All right. So can everyone see my slides? All right, so my name is Shawn and I'm a naturopathic doctor in Vancouver, BC. I want to thank you all for joining us today on this beautiful day. I'm sure we'd all rather be outside biking right now, but we have work or it's our lunch break. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in with us. I hope you can get something out of today's webinar on cycling for the body and mind. So before we get started, I just wanted to introduce myself a bit. I grew up in North Vancouver, very close to Frome Mountain. I love the sunshine, outdoors, and I'm getting more and more into biking recreationally. It's something I always did growing up. This photo here is the demonstration forest and my bike. Any of you know the demonstration forest? It's in North Van. It's one of my favorite riding trails. So I attended Queen's University in Kingston. I studied health and global development. And I also went on to receive my Doctor of Naturopathic Medicine from Boucher Institute in New West. I currently practice at 2 locations. I'm in my West Pender office right now, downtown, but I also practice at the Chiropractic Wellness in Yaletown. And I'd be more than happy to have you follow along on social media. I have an Instagram account. You can check in with me on my website. And if you do have any questions after this presentation, feel free to email me. One of my main things that I like to do in practice is treat digestive concerns, hormones, burnout, and especially some mental health like anxiety and depression. And so today I wanted to keep on the topic of cycling for the body and mind and discuss the foundations of health and how it relates to the brain and our mental health. I think we can probably argue that there's more than 3 pillars of what the foundation is, but I wanted to start with the basics today. So sleep, nutrition, and movement. These foundations are also deeply interlinked, and I find that if one of these foundations are weak, the others can tend to tremble as well. So as we're just going through this presentation, I want you to look at which of these 3 can I maybe improve on, because when you identify and thus restore your weakest foundation, in turn, you can find that all 3 improve and your overall health will feel noticeably better. So we'll get started with sleep. I think sleep is perhaps one of the least understood physiological processes, yet its value to our health and proper functioning is without question. It's essential to our body and our mind. I think impaired sleep, altered sleep patterns, sleep deprivation can wreak havoc on our mental as well as physical function. It can worsen depression. It can worsen pain signals if you have chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia, but also some of the most common causes of insomnia are psychological, like depression and anxiety, tension and stress. So it's kind of full circle, vicious cycle. And over the course of the year, more than 50% of the population will have difficulty falling asleep. And of that 50%, about 33% experience insomnia on a regular basis. So chronic sleep deprivation can accelerate the aging of the brain. It damages neurons, and it can lead to nighttime elevations of our stress hormone cortisol. So cortisol is released in fight or flight when we're in danger. And so if we're not sleeping and we're releasing cortisol as well, we shouldn't be doing that on a regular basis. And I apologize, there's construction that decided to start just as this presentation started, so bear with me. But sleep also functions as an antioxidant. As an antioxidant for the brain, it removes free radicals that damage our brain cells. So getting sleep is so important. Sleep needs decline with age and our ability to sustain sleep, and this is likely due to decreased levels of serotonin and melatonin as we age. But on average, as adults, we should aim for about 8 hours a day. So the next foundation is nutrition. There's a powerful connection between the foods that we eat and our mental health. Yes, we need food for fuel. Calories give us the energy to finish that bike race, but we also need proper nutrition for our brain. And I actually just learned this yesterday. On a per second basis, our brains use more energy at rest, doing absolutely nothing, just sitting here, than the human thigh does while we run a marathon. So I just thought that was so interesting. So it's so important that we nourish our brain because we just need it to function daily. It helps stabilize blood sugar. That would otherwise spike our anxiety. Food fuels us to get us through that big exam and to remember everything that we studied the night before. And it also feeds our mind and our emotions. So to give you an idea on how food fuels our minds, it's one of the only ways for the brain to receive nourishment through our diet. The foods we eat are broken down into nutrients, taken up by the bloodstream via our gut, and then carried to the brain. Our brains literally are what we eat. So for example, when you have protein, it's broken down into amino acids, which is the backbone of our brain cells and key neurotransmitters. So like dopamine, serotonin, endorphins. Carbohydrates, especially from fruit and vegetables, are broken down into glucose and vitamins and minerals, which then energizes our brain. And then healthy fats are broken down into omega-3s and 6s, which help make our neurons flexible and responsive, and also support our immune system and shield our brain from damage. And finally, if you don't think water is nutritious, think again. It's vital to human life, but also our mind. It's involved in every chemical reaction in our brain. In fact, brain cells require an important balance of water as well as electrolytes to work efficiently. Water, it carries oxygen to our brain. It also structurally fills the space between our brain cells to provide cushioning. It helps form proteins, absorb nutrients, and then also eliminate toxins from the body. And yeah, fun fact, about even just as little as a 3 to 4% decrease in water intake will almost immediately affect the brain's fluid balance, causing a number of issues: fatigue, brain fog, reduced energy, headache, and mood swings. And if you've heard this before, you can survive for days without food. You can't survive days without water. And this is because we can't store water and we need a fresh supply daily. And so finally, our third foundation of health, and probably one of the reasons that we're all participating in Go by Bike Week, is movement. So yes, exercise increases muscle strength, helps strong bones, increases blood flow, and helps all these other body systems. But I feel like we sometimes forget the benefit it can have on the mind. Exercise alone has been demonstrated to have a huge impact on improving mood and our ability to handle life stress. It's known as one of the cheapest and most effective antidepressants. I think if exercise came in a pill, it would fly off the shelves. Yet less than 50% of North Americans exercise on a regular basis. So as well as increasing energy levels, it exerts a powerful positive effect on our mental processes, like the below. So it provides a natural release for pent-up feelings, helps reduce tension and anxiety. It helps improve our mental outlook and self-esteem, moderates depression, improves our ability to handle stress, improves our mental function. And to just go full circle, it helps us relax and improve our sleep, which is one of the other foundations to health. And so how does it do this? Exercise increases endorphins, which is one of our neurotransmitters, which protein helps us create. This is similar to morphine, though of course it acts similar to morphine, but of course it's a lot more mild. And there's a clear association that when we exercise, endorphins increase and in turn mood follows. So in summary, it's all connected. We need nutrients from food to have the energy to move, and movement then improves our sleep. And as I've discussed here today, all of those three can have a huge impact on our mind. So thank you for joining me. And I believe we're doing breakout rooms next. But yes, if you do want to reach out after the webinar, again, feel free to reach out. I do offer free 15-minute meet and greets if you do want to discuss what naturopathic medicine can do for you, or if you want to discuss one of the three foundations that you would like to improve. So thank you again.
Thank you so much, Shawn and Erin, for both of your presentations. Like Shawn mentioned, we are doing breakout rooms, so don't freak out. We have prompts. So we want to take some time now to split everyone into smaller groups to discuss what we learned. Nagar will split us up into groups of about 4 people, and then in your groups, please share one new thing that you learned today and how you'll be incorporating that into your next ride. And if you find that you have answered those and still have time, just feel free to chat amongst yourselves about what rides you have planned for Go by Bike Week. So I'm going to allow you to unmute yourselves and start your video so that when you enter the breakout room, you'll be able to see and talk to each other. We'll rejoin in about 7 minutes. So Nagar, do you want to add everyone into the breakout room?
I'll just let everyone go into their rooms now, and we'll join back soon. I think it's working. Did everybody get a link to a breakout room here?
I got booted out of my group. I have no idea. Are we not doing groups anymore?
I'm just putting the groups again. Just a moment. Sorry. Melina. Did you get an invite, Melina, to go into a room?
Yeah, we got booted into 2. I booted into 2. Now I'm joining 7.
Okay, yeah, that's great.
Hi, I was in 14 and then I couldn't get back in while I was turning the audio on.
Yvonne, I will put you back into 14. One moment. There you are.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the breakout session. I think everyone's back in. So let me just get to this. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed the group session. I feel like I got brought into a room with Sophie, and we were just talking about nutrition and diet, and how, you sometimes forget about that, but it does have such a huge impact on your health and your body and your mind. So feel free to share any lessons or information that got brought up in your breakout room in the chat. And I'll read out some answers, or if no one has anything to share, I'll just move on to the question period. So there were a lot of great questions in the chat, and I'll just go through a few of them. So our first question, I guess, does sleep differ between men and women? Should women be sleeping more or less? I think, Shawn, I'll let you answer that one.
Yeah, I can touch in there. I mean, they do say that some research says that women do need more and men don't need as much, but I think it really is an individual need and an individual basis. So it depends, what is the person's stress level, or how long do they work in the day? Are they able to get 8 hours sleep? I know I said we should aim for that, but it's not always possible for everyone. Women tend to need more, but that would only differ in probably a couple of hours. I saw someone also asked, how do you aim for 8 hours sleep? So I thought I'd answer that at the same time. I think if you have a routine, there's a time you have to wake up before you have to go to work or start your day, look after your kids. Find that time and that you have to be up by, backtrack by the 8 hours so you know what time you should be asleep. And so say you have to be up at 7, so you need to be in bed by at least 11 p.m. And that's when you should fully be asleep, not just hopping into bed. And then you should have kind of a half-hour routine, because your body responds to those cues. Oh, I'm brushing my teeth, I'm putting on my pajamas, I'm going to write in my journal or read a book. These are all prompts to then say, oh, okay, it must be time for bed because she's doing this. So I hope that answers your question. But I think as well, just in terms of how much men versus women need, it really does depend on the individual as well and what's going on in their body.
Thank you. Yeah, I find with the pre-nighttime routine, just like not looking at my phone really helps with my sleep. And sometimes I have it in the other room even, because I find it's usually like the first thing that I look at in the morning, and it's usually like a work email. So I get stressed about that. And then another one for Shawn, what impact does caffeine have around sleep and nutrition? And what should we be mindful about when we drink caffeinated drinks?
Yeah, I think coffee, I don't think there's anything bad about coffee. I drink coffee in the morning, but I don't have more than 2 cups in a day. And I try to have decaf in the afternoon. But also just our detox process. So our livers are our detox organ, and some people metabolize coffee very quickly. And so they can have it in the evening and they're still going to be able to fall asleep. Whereas others, if they have 1 cup, they're going to be wired all day. It really doesn't work for them. They won't be able to fall asleep even if they just had 1 cup in the morning. So it is another thing that is individual. It depends how your body functions. Do you metabolize coffee quickly? But in terms of actual caffeine, it does boost your mood. There's research that shows that it's great for people who have depression, but in moderation as well.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. And I guess the overall message is just to like listen to your body and yeah, see how much caffeine intake that can handle.
Yeah.
I have Thank you. I have a question for Erin now. So thank you so much for leading us through that practice. I find that though, every time I sit down to meditate, like my thoughts, there's just so many coming into my mind and I can't seem to settle in. Am I doing something wrong, or, how can I be more mindful or practice meditation?
Yeah, I love this question, and it comes up a lot of people feeling like, oh, I can't meditate because I have too many thoughts, or I just can't slow my thoughts down. But I think it's this understanding that meditation isn't about stopping our thoughts at all. It's just about becoming more aware of them. So when you're sitting in your meditation, instead of focusing your energy on trying to stop what's happening in your mind, having that neutral observer watching the thoughts and going like, oh, interesting, I'm stressed about that, and now I'm thinking about this, and almost like you're watching a TV show. Just you watch your thoughts, and then once you start to get into that habit, they might stretch out a little bit and slow down a little bit, and you might have pockets where you're able to just feel like you're floating or just paying attention to the breath. But another thought is going to come in because like we're human and we're supposed to have thoughts. So it's not about trying to fight against your nature.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. And then I guess like, because we were sitting when we were doing that, and it was more like easier to focus on those thoughts and the meditation. But I guess like going out on a bike ride too, like, is there anything that we should pay more attention to, or like what is mindfulness when we're cycling?
Totally. So another tactic you can practice is just trying to focus on one thing at a time. So focusing on the rhythm of your legs pedaling for however long you can maintain that focus for, and then focusing on your breath and maybe getting into a pattern of breathing and getting some deeper breaths. And, just going through your ride of like, especially if you're starting to notice that you're disconnected, then that's a really good time to bring that in and just like, what's one thing that I can anchor my mind to right now?
Thank you. Yeah, I'll definitely be practicing that the next time I'm out for a ride, which is hopefully this afternoon. I do see some questions about pain and how to prevent that from happening. We do have a session tomorrow going on, a live Q&A with Myo Detox, who will be focusing more on what stretches you can do to make your ride more enjoyable. So tune in to that. And you can pop in your questions there for those questions. I have one in from Yvonne for, are there electrolyte drinks that would be helpful at all during or post cycling? I'm not sure, Erin or Shawn, if you want to take this on. If not, then it's okay too. We can answer it later.
Yeah, electrolytes, very important. I think, especially after a ride, I mean, everyone is a bit different, but in terms of like choosing Gatorade, which is mostly like glucose based, versus finding more of a natural alternative for electrolytes, I would try for the latter. You definitely want like the sodium, potassium mixture. There's some great brands out there that I could recommend. I can pop it in the chat, but I mean, you don't want to overdo electrolytes either. It's all about the specific balance. So I'd say, yeah, after your ride, for sure, replenish with electrolytes.
Okay, thank you. And then I'll just do one last question verbally, and then the rest we'll answer through the chat. This one's for Erin. How do I turn meditation into a habit that sticks?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I would focus on just whatever feels really doable and easy to you. So say setting a timer for 1 minute and doing it the first thing that you do when you wake up, or if it's easier to motivate yourself to do it at night because like mornings are really crazy and stressful for you, just start with that and commit to doing it every single day, and just do the practices that we've talked about of just focusing on your breath. You can do a breathwork exercise that can help give your mind like a task to do, or you can just sit in silence, and that's totally fine as well. Like nothing needs to happen during your meditation. And then over time, you know, you can bump it up to 2 minutes, to 5 minutes, to 10 minutes, to whatever is going to work for you in your life.
Yeah, I find like starting off with shorter increments is good, because I find if I try to just do even 5 or 10 minutes at times, it's like it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
My friend was saying she just like locks herself into the closet and like forces herself to do like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you everyone for sending in your questions. For the Q&A, again, if we haven't gotten to them, we'll pop in the answers in the chat. But yeah, before we finish off here, Hub Cycling would like to extend a big thank you to Shawn and Erin for your presentations. And we also want to encourage everyone to partake in today's activities. So we have a daily prize with Alan McGavin's Sports Medicine Clinic. So if you log your trip, then you can get a wellness kit, which includes a physio voucher, a bike fit voucher, as well as a massage therapy voucher, and it is valued at $470. And we have a live Q&A later on our Facebook page at 2 p.m., which we'll be talking about bike fit tips with Midori from Alan McGavin. So if you're interested in joining that, that'll be mostly about how to actually manage the actual bike. And then tomorrow we'll be doing one with Myo Detox. And then we also have a short video with Nata Grocery later, and an online mechanic workshop with Bike Kitchen. To view our full event schedule, and then tomorrow and Friday, we also have 2 more webinars, Cycling for Sustainable Cities and Intro to E-Bikes. So again, you can find that on bike to work btww.ca to view our full event schedule, and then you can register for Go by Bike Week and log your trips at bikehub.ca/registration. We want to thank our sponsors for this webinar, Recycle BC, Cadillac Fairview, and ICBC, and also our webinar supporters, which are our 2 speakers, Shawn and Erin, and also thank you for staying on to the end. We'll do a raffle from Northwest Rehab Group for the bike fit voucher. And thank you to our 2021 supporters for our event, as well as our 2021 sponsors. So yeah, we're at the end of our webinar. Our facilitators will leave the meeting open for a few minutes longer for those that want to leave comments in the chat. Thank you again to our panelists. You may leave the meeting now if you wish. And participants, thank you for joining in today with us.